Now, if you see for the domain of this function, whatever is within the radical has to be positive, right? Greater than or equal to 0. That is the restriction. Because if you have R to R as your function, then real number can only be mapped to a real number if you have whatever is within the radical that is positive, right? So is this expression always positive? So can this be factorized? This cannot be factorized, right, into two factors. So therefore, we try to show that this is always positive. Okay. So we have 3x square minus 4x plus 5. Okay. Now what you do is, just as we were doing in case of quadratic theory, we'll first take 3 common, and I'll get x square minus 4 by 3x plus 5 by 3, right? Now what we are going to do is, we are going to express the expression within this box bracket as a perfect square. So I already have an a square here minus 2a and b. What should be b here? What should be b here? B here should be, because I need 4 by 3 here. So therefore it must be 2 by 3, right? Because I have a 4 by 3 here plus. Now this becomes your b, right? So you add a b square term here. Okay. And because you have added a b squared term, you remove this b squared term. And what is the only term that is left? Plus 5 by 3. Okay. So this becomes, now if you see this part, I have expressed this as a perfect square. This is equal to x minus 2 by 3 square, a minus b whole square, right? And the remaining part here is 2/3 square, which is equal to 4 by 9 plus 5 by 3. Okay. Which is equal to 3 times x minus 2/3 square. Now you simplify this by taking the LCM. So you have plus, you can write this as 5 by 3 minus 4 by 9. And then now you can take the LCM. So you can write the positive sign first so that you don't make mistakes with the sign. Okay, so plus 9, and you have 15 minus 4, which is equal to thrice x minus 2/3 square plus 11 by 9, which is equal to thrice x minus 2/3 square plus root 11 by 9 square. So what have I done? I have expressed this expression as a sum of two squares, right? And can the sum of two square numbers ever be negative? Which cannot be
No,
negative, as it is the sum of two positive numbers, positive real numbers. What does this mean? That this expression under the radical is always positive. So if this expression is always positive, that means what can x take? What should be a domain of f? X can take any real value, right? If this expression is always positive for any real value of x, then x is taking any real value of x. Therefore, x belongs to R. Hence, what is the domain of f? Domain of f is a set of all real numbers. Minus infinity plus infinity. Okay. We'll now proceed to find out the range. After all the acceptable values of x, we'll now see what are the acceptable values of y. to find the range. Okay, to find the range, we assume let y is equal to the given function, square root of 3x square minus 4x plus 5. Okay, you square both sides to remove the radical. And now you express this as a quadratic in x. So you have got 0 is equal to 3x square minus 4x plus 5 minus y square. So this is a quadratic now. 3x square minus 4x plus 5 minus y square is equal to 0, right? Now, because the domain of x is the set of real number, it belongs to the set of real numbers. Since x is real, therefore, discriminant of this quadratic must be greater than or equal to 0. That means
Yes, sir.
b square minus 4ac must be greater than or equal to 0. So you have a b square. Okay, have I made a sign mistake? Is this plus here? Let me just check once again. This is okay. So you have b square minus 4 into a into c greater than or equal to 0. That means you have 16 minus 12 times 5 minus y square is greater than or equal to 0. That means you get 16 minus 60 plus 12y square is greater than or equal to 0. That means you get minus 44 plus 12y square is greater than or equal to 0. That means 12y square is greater than or equal to 44. That means y square is greater than or equal to 44 by 12. That means y square is greater than, if you reduce this, you can cancel with 4, 11 by 3. So y square minus is greater than or equal to 11 by 3. What should be the solution of this? What are the range of values of y? For this, what you do is you can take 11 by 3 on the other side. Let's say root 11 by 3. You have written as the difference of two squares. And now you can write this as y plus 11 by root 3 into y minus 11 by y minus root 11 by 3 greater than or equal to 0 by the method of intervals. What should be your answer? If you equate y minus root 11 by 3 equal to 0, you get y is equal to plus root 11 by 3. And if you equate the y plus 11 by root 11 by 3 to 0, you get y is equal to minus root 11 by 3. So lower one is minus 11 by root 3. And because you have a greater than or equal to sign here, this means that y must be less than the negative one, or the lower value, and y has to be greater than the positive value, right? So that means now, because y is greater than or equal to 0, see, discriminant here is greater than or equal to 0. Where's y gone? Because cy is equal to this expression we have taken, and we have shown that this is always positive. That means the square root of this will always be also be positive. That means y is greater than or equal to 0, but y is equal to square root of 3x square minus 4x plus 5 is always greater than or equal to 0, as shown above. Therefore, y less than a negative number is not possible.
Yes, sir.
Hence, that means y must be greater than 11 by 3. Root 11 by 3. That means y belongs to what interval? This open interval, right? Hence, what is the range of f? is this set, open interval. Okay. Well, we have a greater than
Yes,
or
sir.
equal to, I think. Okay, there's an equality here. So greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So this will be less than or equal to, this will be greater than or equal to, so that now this interval becomes a semi-open interval. Okay, so we'll put a box bracket here because y can be equal to 11/3. Okay.
Yes, sir.
We'll proceed to the next sum. Okay, number 3 here, if you see, it states y is fx is equal to log of something, right? Number 3. Given here, fx is equal to a natural log of 3x square minus 4x plus 5. Okay, so when I say log, I mean to the base e, right? From now on, where x is obviously a real number. We want to find out um, uh, the domain first, right? So how do you find out the domain? First of all, we have, what is the restriction here for the domain? That whatever is within the log has to be greater than 0. 3x square minus 4x plus 5 has to be greater than 0, which is true, right? Because the same expression we just worked out in the earlier example, isn't it? This one,
Yes, sir.
which is true. As 3x square minus 4x plus 5, we have already shown this to be 3 times x minus 2/3 square plus 11/9, isn't it? This is what we had shown, right? Which is greater than or equal to 0, as shown in 2 above. So this restriction is satisfied, right? So that means what should be the domain of this function? That means x can take any real value.
Yes, sir.
Therefore, x must belong to R. X can take any real value. Therefore, domain of f is the set of real numbers, which is okay. Now we shall proceed to find the range. Find the range of fx. So here we are assume let y is equal to the given function. That means y is equal to log 3x square minus 4x plus 5. From the definition of a log, what can I say? 3x square minus 4x plus 5 must be equal to e to the power of y, because the base is e. That means now what I can say, I can express this as a quadratic in x once again, right? This is a quadratic in x. And what are the
Yes,
acceptable
sir.
values? X is real, right? Since x is real, discriminant must be greater than or equal to 0. So what is the discriminant here? B square minus 4 into a into c is greater than or equal to 0. That means you have 16 minus 12 times 5 minus e to the power of y is greater than or equal to 0. That means you have 16 minus 60 plus 12 e to the power of y is greater than or equal to 0. That means 16 minus 60 is 44, right? So 44 plus 12 e to the power of y is greater than or equal to 0. right? Okay, we're getting negative actually here. Let's see how things work out. 12 e to the power of y is greater than or equal to minus 44. That means you get e to the power of y um, is greater than or equal to minus 44 by 12. Okay, okay, 60 minus 60, this is minus 44 here. That is why now this will become plus. Okay, so this becomes plus. So that means now we get here, if you take log on both sides now, you get log e to the power of y is greater than or equal to log 44 by 12, which you can actually reduce. Let's reduce here only. Cancel with 11 by 3. So log 11 by 3. Okay. Now, what does this mean? This means y log e is greater than or equal to log 11 by 3. That means what is the value of log e? Because the base is e and log e to the base e must be equal to 1. So y greater than or equal to log 11 by 3, right? Because when we're talking about logs, we talk about base e. So log e to the base e is 1. So y is greater than or equal to log 11 by 3. So what is the interval here? Y belongs to log 11 by 3 infinity. Hence, what is the range of f? Must be equal to log 11 by 3 infinity. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you see, the technique to find the range is the same for all the questions. Okay. As long as you get the domain as the set of real numbers, finding the range is not a big deal. Okay. But what you see in all these problems that I'm solving, that in order to find out the range, you will have to determine the domain. And in most cases, 90% of the cases, you will see that the domain comes out to be the set of real numbers, all real numbers. Otherwise, it will be difficult to work out the range. Okay. Look at number 4. Given here is fx is equal to the greatest integer function of sine x, where x belongs to R, obviously. Okay. Now, what is the domain of f? What are the acceptable values of x? X can take any real number, right? So here x belongs to R. Hence, what is the domain of f? Domain of f can be a set of any real number, right? Minus infinity, infinity. Isn't it? Sin x can take any value. The greatest integer function can take any value, isn't it? And sin x can take any value. Fine.
Yes, sir.
In fact, whatever is within your box brackets, that can be any real number. So that is why the domain is the set of any real number. For every x, you are getting a image in the set of real numbers. To find the range, now the convenience with the question on finding domain and range is that in 99% of the cases, why 90? Why 99% of the cases, you'll see that domain will come out to be the set of real numbers. Okay, that is the advantage of getting a question which contains domain and range both. So when you get a question on find the domain and range of certain function, obviously know that chances are very high, extremely high, that the domain will be the set of all real numbers. Okay. But if it is question on domain only, then the question can be a little technical. Okay. Okay. So once we have found out the domain, now we proceed to find out the range. So how do we find out the range? So we see that here the technique is a little different. We see that because the sin x must lie between -1 and 1, right? You all know this. Let us consider for sine x is equal to -1. What is fx? It is the greatest integer function of -1. And what is the greatest integer function of -1? It is -1. Now consider the next interval. See, in this real number line, you've got 0, -1, and 1. So these are the values in between which sine limits itself, right? Between -1 and 1. I have considered this value. Now let's consider the next interval such that now we'll consider except -1 till 0. Okay, this. Okay, so let's see. For sine x is equal to um, for -1 less than sine x less than 0. What is the value of fx? Any number between 0 and 1, -1 and 0. What is the greatest integer of function of any number between -1 and 0? Yes, greatest integer function. Suppose I give you minus 0.23. What is the greatest integer here? It should be -1, isn't it? So therefore, for any number that lies between -1 and 0, this value should be -1. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Next, for we consider the next interval. Next, we can consider any interval between 0 and 1. Okay. So for 0, or you can consider 0 also. Yes, let's consider 0. For sine x is equal to 0. We have not considered 0. So we'll now consider this particular value, 0. Okay. So you have fx is equal to greatest integer function of 0, which is equal to 0. Next, consider next interval. Next interval is 0 to 1. So for 0 less than sine x less than 1, what is the value of fx? A number between 0 and 1. What is any number between 0 and what is the greatest integer function for this? Let's take 0.45. What is the greatest integer of this? Greatest integer of this is 0, right? So this is equal to 0. Are you understanding the greatest integer function or not?
Yes, sir.
For sine x is equal to 1, fx is equal to greatest integer of 1, which is equal to 1. So what you see here, for any value of sine x that you are getting, sine x is equal to -1, what are you getting? Value of fx is -1. Here again, the value of fx is -1. Here for sine x is equal to 0, you are getting the value 0. Here again, you are getting the value 0. Here again, you are getting the value 1. That means for whatever value of sine x taken in its domain, what is the value of sine x you are getting? That is the greatest integer function of sine x. Only 3 values, right? -1, 0, and 1,
1.
right? Not x. This is range of f. So whatever value of x you take in the set A, let's say the set of real numbers here and the set of real numbers here, whatever value of greatest integer function of sine x that you take here, what are the images that you are getting? Only 3, right? All are mapped to some of either 0 or -1 or 1, right? Isn't it? You can take any number of values you want, but they will definitely be mapped to only these 3, right? So that is why the range of f consists of only these 3 values. Okay, fine. We'll see the next problem now. The last problem from domain and range. Oh, this is the third last. Number 5. Given here, fx is equal to x plus 2 by mod x plus 2. Okay, again the mod function. So if you're getting the mod function, you must first simplify the mod function to remove the mod and express it as a piece function, right? So this means that fx is equal to x plus 2 by x plus 2 if x plus 2 is positive, right? This was from the definition of mod function, greater than or equal to 0, let's say, right? And is equal to x plus 2 by minus x plus 2 if x plus 2 is negative. Okay, from the definition of modulus function. Is this step clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now what do you get here? X plus 2 by x plus 2. These two will cancel, so you'll get 1. If x is greater than or equal to minus 2 is equal to minus 1. If x is less than minus 2. Okay, so these are the values that you are getting here. So what can you see? What are the values that fx is taking for any value of x? Only two values, right? Minus 1 and 1, isn't it? So this is easy. So the range of f, whatever value of x that you take, either greater than or equal to minus 2 or x less than minus 2, it is taking only two values. So what should be the range of f? 1 and minus 1 only. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Good. So this was an easy one. Number 6. Given fx is equal to cos x by 3, where x lies between minus infinity and plus infinity. This is the same as saying x is a real number. Okay. So what can be the domain of f? X can take any real value, isn't it? X can take the
Yes,
highest
sir.
of values and the lowest of negative values, right? So domain of f has to be the set of real numbers. So this much is okay. To find the range of f, right? How do you find out the range of fx? See that cos x by 3 will always lie between minus 1 and plus 1, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
So if I say y is equal to cos x by 3, then what can I say? That means y must lie between minus 1 and plus 1.
Yes, sir.
That means y belongs to what interval? This closed interval, right? Hence, what is the range of f? This closed interval itself.
Yes, sir.
That's it. So this was an easy one also. Okay, next one and the last one. Number 7. Given here fx is equal to, okay, let fx is, the fx is not given. Let fx is equal to sec pi by 4 cos square x. X belongs to R. What can be a domain of f? Is there any restriction on the value of f? Any restriction in the value of f? No, you can take any real number for which you will definitely get some value of sec of that, right? So therefore, domain of f is equal to the set of real numbers. Okay, now to find the range. That means what are the acceptable values of y. Okay, now because you have a cos here, we start with a cos. What is the values that cos can take? You see there is a cos here, right? So we start with the cos. Cos lies between -1 and 1, isn't it? That
Yes, sir.
means now if I square both sides, what will I get? Cos square x must lie between 0 and 1, right? If cos x is lies between -1 and 1, if I square, then cos square must be positive. Whatever, even if it is negative, it will become positive, isn't it? That means cos x must
Yes.
lie between 0 and 1. Now what I do, because I see a pi by 4 cos square x here, I multiply both sides by pi by 4. So pi by 4 into 0 less than or equal to pi by 4 cos square x less than or equal to pi by 4 into 1. So you get here 0 less than or equal to pi by 4 cos square x less than or equal to pi by 4, right? Now what else do I have? I have a sec, right? So I take sec on both sides. So I get sec 0 is less than or equal to sec pi by 4 cos square x less than or equal to sec pi by 4, right? Sec 0 is 1 by cos 0 less than or equal to sec pi by 4 cos square x less than or equal to 1 by cos pi by 4. And cos 0 is 1 less than or equal to sec pi by 4 cos square x less than or equal to cos pi by 4 is how much? 1 by root 2, right? So 1 by root 2 will give you root 2. So that means if I say let y is equal to sec pi by 4 cos square x, therefore this y must lie between 1 and root 2. That means to
Yes, sir.
what interval does this y belong? This closed interval. Root 2 is greater than 1, so 1 comma root 2. We write the lower value first, right? So 1, and root 2 is 1.414, it is the higher value. So 1 comma root 2. So hence, what is the range of f? 1 root 2. And that should be your answer. Okay. I'll stop here.